Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. The opinions expressed in the following podcast are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security or investment product. It is only intended to provide education and entertainment about the financial industry and the stock market. Enjoy!
On this episode of Pennies Going in Raw, we interview entrepreneur Adam Heimann, the guy who owns just about every stock market domain you can think of.
You find out life's this game of pennies.
Oh, you guys know we only have a 40% runner. Hello, 40% is a fucking killing.
We've been compliant for too long. It's time we go to war.
I don't have a Roth.
Hugh knows so much about the market that his brain doesn't have enough room for grammar.
Hey, who told me about IDEX? It's going up a shit ton now.
We're up 4%, baby. No way. 4 fucking percent.
You asked the exact same question with 2 words different.
It's like, man, I just got dick whipped for like 20%, and now that f***er's up like 50.
I bet Warren Buffett never did that.
I'm just making this voice memo to call out unusual whales to a fight. The pennies we need are everywhere around us. Pennies.
Going in Raw.
Featuring Dan, Deity of Dips,
and Hugh Honey.
Produced by Vinny.
And Christian.
Let's go, baby.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Pennies Going in Raw. And today we have on Adam Heimann. And so one thing with entrepreneurs that have a lot of endeavors, kind of like yourself, it's always tough to introduce with a casual, hey, he does this and this. So how do you kind of describe yourself in the entrepreneur field?
That's a great question, man. How would I describe myself in the entrepreneur field? I don't know, like what it is that I do for a living, or what it is, or how I look at myself, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you have so many endeavors, from owning just about every stock market related domain name to running ads on websites and stuff, what do you kind of think is your main thing you're working on now? And then what are you kind of known for in the field?
So for a long time, I was known as a penny stock promoter, right? For a long time, right? Like, I started promoting penny stocks when I was 23 years old, 22, 23 years old. I'm 38, right? So for a while, I was known for that. But even before that, it was a lot more, it was also a lot of internet marketing, and it was a lot of SEO, and it was a lot of, I had come up with so many different ideas and so many different things that I had wanted to do at a younger age. I had no money, no experience, no idea what the hell I was doing. I just did it and failed a lot of the time. And then eventually, some things hit, and then what I'm working on now is 100% of my focus is on a company that I started with my business partner, Mike. That company's called True Trading Group. So 100% of my focus is on that company right now.
I think it's interesting how you started promoting penny stocks at 22. It sounds remarkably similar to Mitch starting at 22 promoting penny stocks. And it's funny because that's something so
Mitch
many
penny stocks?
No. Hang on a minute.
cheap
Adam,
stocks on Twitter. You know what I'm saying.
No. Adam, what's the definition of promoting penny stocks? Because there's quite a difference.
My picture's there when you look it up. No, so the definition of a penny stock promoter is basically somebody that's going to go ahead and, it's either a person or somebody that gets paid to promote a penny stock. And by promote, your objective is to get a retail audience to buy that specific stock, right? Normally, a paid promoter is not, that paid promoter is just getting paid cash from a third party or directly from the company. But sometimes, go ahead, but I'll explain a little bit. But
There was just, I think, a misunderstanding. We were just like back in like 2020, back in the pandemic, there were so many penny stocks that just ran these 1,000%. And not so much OTCs, but there are so many COVID related ones. And then, just raising awareness about them. And then, you get all the credibility in the world because everyone's like, holy shit, this guy's a genius. Give me a 800% runner in a week.
Dude, you could have thrown, my daughter's 6 and she could have made money from 2020 to 2021.
No doubt, dude. For sure.
You didn't need to be, the world's greatest stock picker to make money in the past 24 months, right? Which we've seen before, right? You saw it in 2015 to 2017 with the first run up of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. You saw it in 2014 with all the marijuana stocks. This type of event where you get these massive amounts of people flooding into the market, it happens every couple of years. It'd be great if they all stayed, because then, it creates a lot more volume and volatility. It creates great business opportunity for people on both sides. So, but that's not the reality of it either. Most of them are going to burn out,
So how did you transition out of the penny stock game? Going from penny stock to just full on entrepreneur is one in itself that I imagine a lot of traders want to.
Yeah, it was always an entrepreneur thing because with the penny stocks, I started a business out of my dad's living room when I was 22, 23 years old, right? Part of my story is that I'm a recovering drug addict, right? So I use drugs every day from the age of I don't know, man, 12 years old till 6 months after my 21st birthday. And, I had no previous experience with work or business or the stock market. My knowledge of the stock market at that time was I knew that there was something that existed that was called the stock market. And
right.
There was maybe
old
money
people did
somewhere.
It. Yeah.
Right. And old people did it. And, for me, when I got clean, man, and this year it'll be, where are we at? It'll be 17 years clean in August, God willing,
awesome,
right?
Congrats, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man. I still go to Narcotics Anonymous meetings. I sponsor men. I work steps. I have a sponsor. So I'm still very involved in that. But I got clean and I was kind of like, well, what do I want to do? And, I was going,
brings up a lot of time.
Yeah. I immediately went back to college and I was like, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to go back to school, I guess, right? So I went back to school and I was considering becoming, an addiction treatment specialist, specialize in a addiction treatment specialist. And, I was doing this thing called Hospitals and Institutions where I was bringing in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting to South Miami Hospital's detox every Tuesday night, right? I did this for years. And, you got to be really okay with not taking some of that shit home with you, right? You have to be, really stomach a lot. I've heard some of the most horrific things you will ever hear or witness, right? And I was just terrible at not taking that stuff home. It would keep me up at night. So I decided that's not what I wanted to do. And then, this girl that I knew at the time, this is when when MySpace was just becoming popular. So this girl at the time, and the first iPhone was coming out also. So this girl that I knew at the time needed a MySpace page built. And I was just like, yeah, I'll do it, but I want the new iPhone as payment. So I essentially taught myself Photoshop and CSS and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I just fell in love with it. I did get the first iPhone from her. But
it's crazy to think how MySpace just had all these 14-year-olds just coding at such a high, not exactly a high level, but you could ask them to do any coding now. They could be like, I could probably add Fallout Boy to the back of a MySpace page.
Exactly. But so then I made a little side business out of that, making MySpace pages and things like that. And then I transitioned into, web design. And basically from, 6 months after, from getting clean till the age of 23, I had just done nothing but just get my hand on every book about online marketing, built out websites, got really into SEO. and then caught a couple lucky breaks, right? And then one of the breaks that I caught was I was working for a dental office doing their website and their social media marketing, their SEO, and I was like 24 years old. And the owner, oh no, I was like 23, whatever. But I had done really well for them. They paid me like $1,300 a week, and I brought them like $250,000 in patient referrals in like 6 months, right? Without them having to spend any money on like pay-per-click. It was all social media and SEO marketing.
That's crazy because it was probably very new to them. Like
paying
someone that like back then to do that shit was kind of like, okay, like what are we doing here?
Yeah. So then what happens is that there was a woman dentist. Her husband ran the office, and her husband got an offer to be the CEO of a penny stock. And they went to New York. And he comes back and he tells me, he's like, hey, listen, do you know how to market a public company? And at this time, I had a very strict policy of you say no to nothing and you just figure it out. That's how winning is done. And so I said I don't, but I'll figure it out, right? And at the time, a website, I would charge somebody like $2,500, and it would take me 90 days to collect the $2,500. You get a little piece up front, something in the middle, and then at the end when everyone's happy. And so what happens is that at this time, they get me involved with with some people, and one of those people is a guy by the name of Dan Ryan. I don't know. These are like old school penny stock promoters. One of them, he owned a website called Penny Stock Chaser. It was a long time ago. I'm not sure if you guys.
No.
Anyway,
No.
Cool. So,
we're showing our age here, man.
No. So like this website was an email list. This guy would get like $1 million a week, dude, to go ahead.
What?
Yeah. No, I shit you not. Because at that time, this was like 2010, or no, this was earlier than that. It was like 2008, 2009, right? In 2008, 2009, 2010, it was still like these newsletters, these like cheap penny stock newsletters that you see today, they're obviously scams. They would pull real volume at that time. So they would go and they would alert something, and it would just go absolutely apeshit, right? Like, you may not know who Penny Stock Chaser is, but do you know what Awesome Penny Stocks is?
Yeah.
Okay, exactly. And that's way before your time.
Yeah.
Right? Because Awesome Penny Stocks was like...
They're probably all the fucking same person, dude.
Wait, so I'm really confused on something. And because I thought promoting stocks was illegal. Like taking money...
No, not if you let them know that you are. That's why you'll see them, like, if they're not putting, I'm not getting paid to promote this stock at the bottom, and they are, then that's where the gray area becomes, hey,
so it's only illegal if you don't say, what about, can you touch the stock?
So
I'm sorry.
Sorry. It depends on what your definition of touch is, right?
Yeah.
So for example, physically with consent.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's called a 17B. It's a 17B disclosure is what you're referring to, right? So you basically have to tell the public how much you're getting paid, what time period you're getting paid for, and who exactly paid you. Okay? And do you own any stock? So those 4 things, okay, are and I'm not an attorney, I'm not pretending to be one, so I'm sure that there's more, but and I paid millions of dollars in legal
fees, we're not getting into the nitty-gritty, man.
Yeah. But but what I'm saying is that those 4 things specifically, so you have to have that in your content, whether that's your email or your social media or whatever it is, right? And as long as you have that, it's 100% legal.
Huh. Okay.
Now,
now I'm like, shit, why did I delete all those DMs from all those guys offering me $40,000 to promote their penny stocks, man?
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, now I'll share a cool story about Jason Spatafora that I know he's been on, but
yeah, close friend.
So,
close friend of the pod.
Yeah. So, but yeah, where it becomes a problem is like if most promoters know they're going to promote a stock before they start to promote it, right? Because the company or marketing company that hires them gives them lead time so they can write pieces of content, organize their campaign. Now, what a lot of promoters do when they get in trouble for it is they will front load it. So they will buy bits and pieces over a small period of time. You know, if they're smart, they're doing it so that nobody sees big spikes of volume before the campaign goes. But most of them are idiots and they get real greedy and they do it way beforehand, right?
Yes, it's hard to hide it on penny stocks.
It depends. It depends how far out in advance you know that you know, if you have 2 months, can you pick up $5,000-$6,000, a week under the radar and a sub penny that maybe goes to 5 cents. And then all of a sudden you made 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 grand, it depends. Right. But that's the line, that's a prime example of like one type of like line crossing, right? There's no way to make that legal.
Yeah. Okay. But okay. I mean, this is wild. So, but I mean, why? I guess I understand why they would do that. But if you just hold the stock, like let's just say that you just, obviously they're front loading it. Unquote. Yeah, you front load it and you just hold it. That's okay. Or you just can't touch it. Like underneath this rule, if you have any, you can't touch it.
You can. But why would you do that? Why would you front load it and then hold it through your promotion? Because what happens after a stock is done being promoted? What happens?
Yeah, it dumps.
Down. Yeah.
Right, it dumps because there's no more promotion that's driving the interest. All the interest was artificial.
Yeah.
Right? It's not
basically, there's no point in front loading it.
Right. There's no point in front loading unless you're going to do something, like that.
Okay, so that's how they all get in trouble. Okay.
Well, that's a big way they get in trouble, right? Another way that they get in trouble is they get kickbacks from the people that are hiring them. So make no mistake about this. This is a giant legal loophole that has been exploited for years.
Great.
So essentially what's happened here is that, let's say, this is perfect. There's 3 of us here. So let's say, for example, Dan, you're an investor, okay? And you want to go ahead and Mitch, you own a penny stock, like you're the CEO of a penny stock, okay?
Yeah.
You desperately need 50 grand to keep the business going. All right. So Dan runs a little office, right? And he's got people calling up these penny stocks every day saying, hey, you need 10 grand, you need 50 grand, you need 100 grand, whatever it is, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to say, oh, this is perfect. I need this 50 grand. I have to make payroll, or maybe you just have to pay your Maserati payment, man, because this is,
that's what penny stock CEOs do, man. That's what they drive. That's what they do.
Yeah. Hey, I do like a Maserati.
I'm just,
yeah.
Let's say whatever the reason, you need 50 grand, right? So Dan's going to go ahead and he's going to give you the 50 grand, but he's going to give it to you at 149% interest. And you have 6 months to pay that back. You didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of 5 minutes ago. There's no way you're paying back that money, right? But Dan doesn't want you to pay back that money. He wants you to default on that note because then you're going to get 50 grand plus 149% interest worth of stock. So now, and because you're doing it through a private placement on an OTC stock, which doesn't have to file like an S1 registration for it or anything like that, those shares after 6 months, as long as the company is current and reporting, are free trading.
Oh, so they can just dump it into the open market.
They need volume. So what does Dan do?
I call you.
Right. What Dan will do is Dan will either call me directly, but really what Dan should do is he'll say, hey, Mitch, you need you need 50 grand. I'm going to give you 75,000 and 25,000 of which I need you to spend on marketing with these people.
This makes so much sense because
Yeah.
I held a 000 psychedelic mushroom stock for a year that was just too low. I was like, look, there's literally no point in selling these 1 million shares for a fifth of a cent, whatever it is, like the lowest 0.0001. Then 1 week comes, 1,000% runner, man.
Yeah.
All the news comes out. It's all that.
This is wild.
So
Honestly,
here's what's going to happen. I'm going to disclose that the company, that Mitch's company, hired me for $25,000 for IR, investor relations, because it sounds professional, right?
yeah.
That's not a scam.
Right. It's not a scam. It's definitely professional. It's totally legit. Trust me, bro.
Source, trust me.
Right. So I'm going to disclose it. I'm going to work with Mitch and his company, which is him and like 2 other people. And what's going to happen is that Dan, every once in a while, will hit me up and say, hey, did you get that job with Mitch's company? And I'll be like, yeah, it's great. And then he'll be like, well, how are we doing? You know what I mean? Because the objective here is that Dan has so much stock. It's such a discount to market that the objective for him is to quite literally unload his stock into the market. But there needs to be volume. There needs to be interest. You need the retail audience to do that. So then a marketing company comes in and they go ahead and they send out email and put banner ads and get influencers to talk about it and to post it everywhere. And now you have your market.
So every one of these shit coins.
Pretty much.
This is it makes sense now. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm seeing the full picture here, but this is
I knew there was it's so obvious something fishy's going on, but knowing the full circle is definitely an interesting part of it.
This is the old, like, such an old like trick, man. I mean, they've been doing this stuff since like the late 70s and into the 80s. Like, this is all that has changed is the way in which the promote is done. So it used to be done literally people going places, passing out flyers or like, and then it was cold, these giant boiler rooms, and then it was fax machine blasts. And then, now it's just digital marketing, and email lists and text messages. And now even worse, social media. The stuff on social media is insane. Most people out there that are talking about a specific stock are one way or another like in on it.
Well, whether or not they're getting paid, I guess that's not for me to decide because legally.
No.
Yeah. But I mean, no, I think that's definitely something that every investor needs to think about is what interest does the guy posting it have? Whether or not that they have 4.9% of the company or they're getting paid 75 grand by the company.
Right. And a lot of people will try and hide the disclosure because that's a deterrent for people to purchase it if they see that.
What was your kind of wildest, was there any part of your penny stock promotion where you were like, I think I'm in too deep, or were there ever an offer you're like, this is kind of too far?
Yeah, several. I've been offered, I said no a lot. I've been offered everything from I'll hold the shares for you, no one will know. I've been offered, bags of cash or, jewelry or
meet me at the sketchy location.
Dude, I mean, a lot of different stuff, right? I'll give you proceeds for it. Go pick up this bag of cash from this broker, like all sorts of crazy stuff. And I said no to all of it, right? Because most of the people that I've seen in this industry, the players that were at a much higher level than I was ever at, I saw most of them either go to prison or flee the country.
Damn, that's a shitty way to lose all your friends, man.
Yeah, bro. It's not what I wanted to do. Look, there's a way to make money in that industry legally, right? And you should ask, I had to answer this question for myself early on, like how much was enough money? I mean, we were, that promotion company that we had, I mean, we're doing tens of millions of dollars a year just from marketing budgets without having to get our hands dirty in any of that. So like, how much is enough? I mean, you got to ask that. You can't spend it from prison. And I really like, I like where I live. I don't want to have to, move to another country.
Yeah, no, it's wild just hearing about all the back ends of stuff and think this is probably only just the beginning of where it all, starts.
Dude, it is. I mean, I've heard, I had people that I knew that at the time they would get stock in a company as part of a deal. They would get on a flight to go somewhere and they would tell their broker to sell the stock when they get on the plane. By the time they landed, they sold $1 million worth of stock. You can't do that stuff now because there's all sorts of protocol in place. But, look, and even if you do everything perfect, man, in that industry, it is almost impossible to leave there unscathed.
Yeah, because I mean, someone loses money somewhere along the way, they're mad. If you piss off the right person and making them lose money is the perfect way to piss them off, they're going to try and get revenge one way or another. And writing that letter to the SEC seems like the very first step.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, unfortunately, that's why you have a disclaimer. People are going to lose money, right? Mm-hmm. People are going to lose money. As long as you have the disclaimer there's nothing the SEC can do, right? Now, dude, I had turned down offers and stuff, millions and millions of dollars I could have put in my pocket, right? Even when I left the business after walking like the most straight path that, I mean, I'm not like a saint, but I did not do what not everyone else, but what the majority of people did. Even myself, dude, I ended up getting a $1.25 million fine from the SEC. I did not get a ban or a bar. There was no litigation. There was no, there was no court. There was no charge. Nothing. It was just an administrative proceeding.
At your current, at your wealth at the time, would you consider that a slap on the wrist?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
Jesus.
Humble brag.
Yeah. I mean, look, it still stings. I mean, no, I was more upset that, the whole thing was proven. I mean, the reason I didn't get a bar or a ban, the reason I didn't get any charge, the reason there was no court case on that is because it was proven between us that it was bad legal advice is what happened. I had opinion letters and I had other things from attorneys that gave the wrong advice on something, right? So what ends up happening is that they say, okay, we know that this wasn't done intentionally. We know that you went ahead and stopped doing it when on your own, but it was still done.
It's still wrong, yeah. Yeah.
So, but you know what, dude? Like, you think about it, that business, the IR, the promotion business, I used millions of dollars from that business to fund True Trading Group, which is the single greatest business I've ever created. It allowed me to set up a bunch of other things. It allowed me to take care of my family. It allowed me to do a lot of stuff. And I think that, in 2014, because the industry changed a lot after 2010. I don't know what it was about 2010, but right after that, the whole thing changed a lot.
The industry is in like penny stock promotion, social media?
And early on, man, the newsletters were creating so much volume that like a retail trader would have every opportunity to make a killing on it. At the time, now, everyone knew what it was. It wasn't like, oh, this is different somehow, but there was an opportunity for a retail trader, a real opportunity to make money over many days. But right around 2010, it just wasn't the case anymore. you started to really see that every deal people just got like, they just didn't care about just dumping it and dumping it and dumping it. It was like an unspoken symbiotic relationship for a while. It was like, you're not going to unload your shares too quick. The promoters list is going to do well. Everyone wins. Move to the next one, you know? And after 2010, it started to really deteriorate. In 2014 is when I decided that everything I needed to do business-wise was going to be to transition out of that business, and that I would use it as a vehicle to transition out of that business.
Okay, well, speaking of transition, and you did mention a story about him. You also are kind of big in the weed space still?
Not still, but so what happened?
There was that phase, and I do want to hear the Jason story, so that we can kind of intertwine those.
So my job as a promoter is to keep my ear to the ground, right? So like I need to see who is trending on social media, what's going on there, because look, I get these, we were getting large budgets to promote these companies every month. And if I could find somebody that had a built-in audience, then that's extra money that I could save that I didn't have to spend on click ads or anything else, right? So somebody told me about the Wolf of Weed Street in 2014 and about like anything this guy tweets about is going to trade $1 million instantly, which is true. At that time, anything that he tweeted about, right, he was gonna go ahead and make money with. Now, when Jason is like my brother today, right? But that's not how it was then. When Jason and I first met, I went and I met him, and he and I almost got in a fist fight.
Classic.
So,
classic Jason.
He was like the height of his popularity on social media. He had this like, he was super holier than thou, right? Like shit didn't stink, whatever. And I just had zero patience for like, a fake Twitter celebrity. So, which I called him that once to his face, and he's never let me live it down. And I don't think that about him now. I think he's a real Twitter celebrity. So,
I wouldn't let it down either, dude.
So what ends up happening is Mike and I, because Mike was my partner then too in that business as well. And we approached Jason. We wanted him to come on board because I had just purchased marijuanastocks.com. I purchased that domain for $75,000. And that domain and the marketing we did behind that domain turned Mike, Jason, and myself into millionaires. We made $10 million with that website.
I can't. There's so many numbers being thrown around right now.
Yeah,
that's sick, bro.
One thing, which is, I guess, another good transition right here. You just listed marijuana stocks as one of the domain names you name, and just to name a few, pennystocks.com, goldstocks.com, biotechstocks.com, techstocks.com, and even the fucking stockmarket.com, which I feel like you shouldn't be allowed on that one. No offense. Would you mind power ranking your domain names? I want to hear which one's the big dog. You're not letting that one go. And then, you go to the bottom, whatever, biotech, so, fuck y'all,
Yeah. Pennystocks.com.
Okay. That one's number one?
That's number one. Marijuanastocks.com will always have a special place. That'll be number two. Then stockmarket.com, and then the rest of them, spread out. But, I would say like that. And, it's a hell of a portfolio.
Yeah, no, for someone with a, you hear about the people that, they hear about like an athlete in the 8th grade and they're like, okay, I'm taking JadaviusSmith.com. And maybe if he goes in the NFL, I'll make billions. But no, that's a crazy domain list one.
Brother, I bought all these after the fact at like top dollar.
Yeah.
I was not smart enough to buy it when it was, somewhat affordable.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't think of too many people that would have been. I guess probably Mark Q. You're probably buying it off Mark back then.
So what happened with Jason, just kind of further on that.
Yeah.
I had a company offer us $1 million budget, and Mike and I went to Jason, and this was what Jason didn't want to do any paid promotion for anything, right? That quickly changed. But I went to Jason we were trying to still court Jason because we wanted him to drop the ticker on Twitter that we were promoting, right? So we didn't want to like turn him off, by bringing money into the equation
or calling him a fake Twitter celebrity.
Yeah. We didn't want to insult his
you can say ego.
His ego. But,
love you, Jason.
But what happened is that the company told me to go ahead and offer him $700,000 for one tweet.
I'm tweeting, dude. I'll tweet that bitch 6 times.
And I said to him, I was like, I cannot go to this person and offer him that and I thought at the time that he would tell us to fuck off, and later on when he started to, promote with us on marijuanastocks.com and other places, I told him about that, and he goes, why the fuck didn't you tell me? He's like, I would have tweeted that shit immediately. And I was like, hey, you had a real staunch, I'm not going to take money to talk about a stock policy at that time.
All right. Well, I guess kind of going into your trading group you have right now, and you said you super passionate about it, one of your most passionate projects you've had. What led to you having this? I mean, I guess it kind of is the new promoting stocks with the old Discords and everything, but what makes this different than everything else?
2014, we were doing the penny stock, and I'm going to get into it, but we were doing penny stock promotion on Facebook, right? And I had somebody send us a direct message, right? Because to this point, that some people get burned, but you don't really hear from them. You don't,
it's not personal.
It's not personal. You're just marketing something, Fucking guy on Facebook has got a picture. I'll never forget as long as I live, dude. Had a picture of like him and his kid in the profile picture. Sends me a message and says to me, is this done? I put in everything I had. I don't know what to do. I can't, and because I have a soul, it fundamentally changed. It fundamentally changed how I thought about things going forward. Right. And I made the decision then, I had this partner, Kyle, at the time. And he and I actually had the idea of this thing called Trader Station, which is ultimately what became True Trading Group. But the idea behind that was we wanted to go ahead and create a place that actually helped people instead in the same industry. And we had saw all the other people that were already out there. Like you had, I know this podcast gets a lot of views. I don't want to talk shit too much, but a lot of other people in the same industry out there that have been around for a long time, that you knew were not doing right by their people, right? In the education space, in the chat room space, whatever. So we saw an opportunity that if we could do it different, it could be bigger than anything promotion could ever be. And we literally, Kyle retired early and left. Mike and I became partners shortly after that. And from that moment on, every ounce of extra money we had, extra time, we put into building that platform so we can pivot out of that space. The reward of that has been insane because, we have almost 10,000 members. We don't use Discord. We have our own chat room. We've made it exceptionally affordable for people, and people are actually doing well. So it's something it's a lot more work than what penny stock promotion was, right? It's a lot more work, but it's also a lot more money too. Because you're dealing with a retail or consumer product, right? A digital consumer product. So you're always going to make more money doing that than taking 20% of an advertising budget. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more rewarding. And another thing, when people are always like, because paid chat rooms do get a lot of criticism, but it's one thing to me has always been like, if you don't like it, fucking leave. You don't have to pay for it every month. And I'm not in any, and I don't think Mitch is either. But I think one of the worst things, like you mentioned earlier, is, yeah, I mean, you might be. But
I'm in True Trader Group. I'm in Investors Underground. I'm in everybody.
But I think, like you mentioned earlier, is people that mask education, like mask front loading and stuff as education, is definitely one of the biggest harms to the community.
Well, that, or even like the other thing that I personally hate is like the I mean, Adam, we've talked about this on the side, is that like the $15,000 courses. Like most people don't have $15,000, period.
Yeah, and then if you don't succeed, it's because you didn't put in the work.
Exactly. Like you didn't identify the setups, and that's the shit that makes me mad, because especially like you go on YouTube, and it's like these guys who, I mean, like the YouTube ads and stuff, it's like guys who I've never heard of, and I like click on their page, I'm like, dude, what is this?
Yeah, but you know what? They get it, because they do, they promise things that are, look. People want to be sold. People want to be told what they want to hear. They want the confirmation bias. They want to, they refuse to believe that it's hard work and, a little bit of dedication and time, right? Like everyone thinks, well, no, you're just doing it wrong. Let me pay you more money so I can get the quick fix. And this is not a casino. It may feel like it at times, but that's not what it is. And people have a really hard time with that. I've noticed that a lot. You get a lot of good people. Look, True Trading Group, for example, you get a shit ton of stuff with us. You get real-time level 2 data for free, right? We have an agreement with Quote Media. Everyone that signs up, they get it for free for the whole year. Real-time, full book level 2. You get real-time options data from CBOE and from Quote Media. You get TradingView's premium charting software, the premium level one. So like all the indicators, multiple chart layouts, everything. You get Benzinga Pro's full real-time news feed and Squawk. The shit's like $1,400 a year, right? All of this for like $1,100 to $1,300, depending on, do we have laptops, whose birthday it is, or whatever, right? You get a lot of value for that. You pay it up front for the year, and that's it. These products would cost $4,000 or $5,000 on their own throughout the entire year. So the thing is, people come in, there's not a high barrier to entry because the cost is relatively affordable, and there's a lot of money left over, and people unfortunately treat it like a casino. Not everyone, but a lot of people.
Yeah, no, just going back to what you said initially about it, is about hearing what they want to hear and everything, is as much as I disagree with a lot of the things that Gary Vee says, is saying, I'm not sitting in my shower every morning imagining my loved ones get shot in the face so I know what I truly love and don't, like he says I should.
Is that what he said?
But that is a direct quote, yes.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
Really?
Yeah, he says if you're ever like feeling down and stuff in the shower, he says, I can't remember if it's once a day or once a week, he imagines his loved ones getting shot in the face so he knows like what. Yeah, so
why can't we just be fucking happy?
No, but at the same time, this podcast doesn't exist without him. He was always like, start a podcast yesterday. If you're not sucking dick on OnlyFans right now, you're losing prime internet real estate. Didn't go with the second one. But I was like, podcast, dude, we should do it.
I don't think I could do it.
See, so, I was just like, fuck it, but so it is one of those things where sometimes you just do need that like extra kick in the ass to kind of get it started. And sometimes some guy talking on stage may be it.
He said, tell me I'm a bitch, not imagine Mama Henny. He had other gauge.
Hey, dude, he had others. So I guess kind of to wrap this up, we always let a little plug, or if there's anything else we miss. Is there anything else you really want to go over, or how to go ahead?
No, I was just gonna say that you still do a lot of like side work for other jobs, right? Do you want to?
No, actually, not anymore.
Oh, you're tired, dude. Get with it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you.
Dude, you go on Logan Paul's podcast once, bro. You can't have a fucking job anymore, dude. He's wrecked.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm actually going to get dinner with Mike Maslach and Jeff tonight, right after this. But
ask them if they want to come on our pod. We'll
we've both met him at various scenarios, at different situations, actually.
Different
Me in
times,
Las Vegas, him on a private jet. Funny how that works.
Nice. Yeah. So, is there anything I really want to go over? I think I said it. I don't have any other side jobs right now.
You used to have a podcast?
I used to have a podcast. I got a cease and desist from Entrepreneur.
Oh, no.
And then it was just too hard to start back up because I was just swamped. But no, my full focus is on True Trading Group. We're going to be expanding that product into other, my goal is to take that concept with True Trading Group and that whole industry of online education and community building and things like that, expanded into other areas, everything from real estate, parenting, healthy lifestyle, and create a parent company called the True Groups, right? And take the platform that has made True Trading Group so successful and apply it into other areas, because it's an industry that is consistently preyed upon, consistently exploited. And because of that, there's a huge opportunity to do it right. And if you do it right, you're going to be super successful in it. So I have, and I'll share one more thing that I probably shouldn't share on here. And, but I'll do it anyways. Fuck it. Yesterday morning, Mike's my business partner, had a meeting with another company, right? And this company made us an 8-figure offer to buy 51% of True Trading Group.
Holy shit.
And I could not sleep last night because it was a pretty large offer. It was upwards of $50 million for 51%. I do not have $50 million in the bank.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I do very well. I don't do that well.
It's tough to say no to.
Huh?
That's tough to say no to.
Yeah, it was. It was tough to say. But we did. We said no to it. For several reasons, right? It wasn't just the money. I have a hard time ever picturing working for anyone else. And you take something like that, you got to be sure that you want to be done, right? Because at that point, it's not really yours anymore. You got it to that point, you're gonna have a lot of money in your pocket, but then I essentially have to work for someone for the next 5 years. I got to answer to people. I have to have a boss. I can't finish creating the True Trading Group. Doesn't even we've grown. In 2017, we did something like $16,000 the whole year. And we almost did, we've done, 8 figures in 2021 to give an idea of the growth. And that's while most people, not everyone is succeeding, but while most people are doing well. So it's this big win-win. So for us, it's like and the point I'm trying to make is that we have almost zero marketing funnels. All of our sales are driven through these live streams that we do every night at nauseum. You know, it's like doing an infomercial every night. We haven't set up any marketing yet. We have no organized funnels on that side of the business. We have no affiliate program that really works yet. We haven't structured anything to truly scale this out to more people. And this is where we're at. I haven't taken the vision of what we want to do and bring it into other verticals yet. So why am I selling for $50 million? So I'm going to, because after all taxes and everything is spread out, I'll put maybe $10 million in my pocket, right?
Not bad.
No, not bad. Way underselling yourself. And I know that as long as there's people in True Trading Group, as long as people are doing well, as long as it's growing, it will always have some sort of a value that can be sold. I don't know if I'll ever be able to duplicate what this is now. You got to run with it. You got to gamble on yourself.
Yeah, it's incredible growth, and not only that, but I mean, I've said it before. I think the reward you get. I mean, if you're teaching other people how to make money like this, I mean, aside from like a surgeon, how else can you equate that? I mean, you're helping people do what they want to do by helping them solve their issues financially. So I mean, it's definitely awesome.
I hope that everyone in True Trading Group makes the money they want to make, quits their job, and not even becomes a full-time trader, but goes and takes that money and invests it into starting whatever business or chasing whatever passion they have, because that's what it should be about. It shouldn't be about buying Lambos and mansions and private jets and all that bullshit. It should be about having the money that you own so you can stand on your own 2 feet so that you don't have to be beholden to anyone.
Yeah, no. Well, we hope everyone got something out of this. And how can they reach you if they want to join the TTG?
Yeah, just go to we have a trial. It's a 7-day trial for $3. We charge $3 to make sure you're a real person. So if you want to come in and troll, we know who you are with the $3 purchase. After the $3, you are never, ever, ever charged again. It just simply expired. There's no auto renew on that. Go to ttgthree.com. That's ttgthree.com. Enter your info, pay the $3. It'll be the best $3 you've ever spent. Come see if we're full of shit or not.
And we'll put that in the Spotify tweet. The link.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, it was awesome talking to you. Have fun tonight, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
I'm inside I'm looking at the True Trading Group chat right now. Thanks for joining you guys too.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
See you, bro.
Later.
Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.